Here while the game is loading. Might take a bit. It's really slow. I don't know what happened last time. My controller just, I don't know, something happened. The game glitched or something, and lost controller connection. Like as if it got unplugged or something. But
Mm-hmm.
waiting for game host acceptance.
It's because I'm trying to get my stream stuff up
Yeah,
too.
there it goes. All right. Hopefully we get somebody watching. $5%. 7. I put new rear suspension parts on my folks' car.
Oh,
Doing that before I came in to do this.
I was at the gym and I just got done eating. I just saw your message. It's like, oh, well, I didn't
Well, I
know we were doing
responded
that.
early right after in the morning there. Must have not went through.
Evidently
Okay.
not.
See if I can. I mean, I left it parked. The heck? Somebody.
Nope, it didn't. It didn't come through.
Somebody harvest this field, part of this field
No,
that I'm in? Because it's like,
no.
unless I'm. Yeah, that's not. Huh. Yeah, because it's where the first tractor's where I left it, but like either some of the field isn't loaded in, or it looks like something's yeah, it's like, oh, maybe it's just, oh, geez, that's okay. So the graphics are just glitching. So it's not loading in, completely loading in the field. That's why.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. I wonder what caused that. If that's the internet or if that's on your end, because it's. I guess I don't get it. It's you're hosting it on your computer, but it's so your computer's having to work kind of hard for this. Then I'm guessing.
Well, that's what. Yeah, I was worried about it. That's why I was asking you to let me know if there was any issues last week.
Well, no, I'm just noticing the graphics aren't necessarily loading in.
The
Uh,
other thing is, I just booted everything up, so
okay, so maybe it hasn't loaded all the textures and that. Okay,
not
because
maybe
it
not
it
quite
looks
there
like
yet.
when I was just sitting there, it looks like somebody started harvest or had harvest parts of the field. Yeah, it's just all the textures haven't loaded in. Huh. I never had that trouble. So, and of course, I run my settings on ultra high or whatever because I got the hardware to run it. Anyway,
Yeah, I don't think I do.
interesting. Well, okay. I'll have to check. I hope I'm sort of somewhere, not leaving a big old strip, but I'm probably going to need some, well, 37%. Maybe I get most of this done. I might have to go get some more fertilizer, however you do that or wherever you do that.
With the farm.
Okay.
The farm's not too far away from you.
Okay. Well, again, it might do almost the whole field. It looks like it doesn't go down that fast. Maybe we'll get this field done this stream, right?
Yeah,
I got about
we can get
halfway
that.
done, so I
You can
mean,
get you can get that field done, but we can't claim it yet.
yeah.
That's
Well, to earn us some
because
money,
one of
though.
us. No, not till we end the contract, and we can't end the contract because then one of us would lose our um our machines.
Oh, okay. I haven't done
We
contracts
we
yet,
we
so
will
I'm
get
just
we will get paid eventually, just not right away.
I'm, I
Speaking
titled
of
this "Making
contracts,
That Mofo Money," and so I guess we're not making it yet. Spending that mo.
well, we
We're
are, but we're not.
we're spending cheese. Well, I could drive down the road to Casey's and get some pizza. Somebody watching says, if you're watching, you want to say hello out there in the chat? Probably can't transfer like of the game transfer ownership, so I could uh uh try hosting it, just see if my rig's a little better or not. Not that we've had any troubles. I'm just saying.
No, not that I know of. I think there is a way, but I don't know
I'm not sure
how.
how it
I think I
works,
think I, I think what you do is you go into the folders and look for the game save.
and I would have to put it in my folder or whatever, and then
Yeah.
start it.
Yeah, now that I think about it, I think that's what you do because I know people have like that's how they've started on their computer or whatever, and then they decide to add it to the server. So that's what they I think
Okay,
they do.
see, I figure there's got to be a way. It might not be super easy, but it might. There's got to be a way because
It's probably like getting mods. It's got to be some. There's got to be a game save somewhere, and you just got to know what you're looking for.
okay, you know what? The reason why things look a little weird. See now, as I drive back the other way on the field, the textures that were loading in stayed loaded. So just what's happening.
Might make it easier for you to see where you're going.
Not really, because they load in ahead um, of me. But like, there's big
Nice.
brown patches like off in the distance where I already done, and then we're way off to where I haven't done. So it's just the assets haven't loaded in until I go there. Technically. I mean, I guess that's pretty good considering we've done this all this time and I've not ever experienced something like that. Means it's
Yeah.
a pretty stable game.
Yeah.
Notification that I'm live. It's like my phone kept going off. It's like, oh yeah. Oh, I don't know why that's popping in my head, but KBPI car shows this weekend, so we'll be going to that.
I haven't had a chance to listen to KBPI this week, so
Yeah, I mean they've been promoing it and all that. We'll see. I mean it's always a good show. I mean it's the at least this kind of car show, the culture's changed a bit, or the car culture. It's I mean, yeah, there's lots of customs and all this. I mean, it's a lot about the people who want to go and race. You're not. I mean, there's always a lot of neat stuff. I mean, I'm not saying there isn't, but there's less like either unrestored originals or restored to original. It's a lot of custom work. Lifted trucks and things like that. I mean, like I said, neat stuff, but and fairly eclectic, but there's just um, not always a lot of what exactly I would look for. But
yeah.
I mean,
Willie
it's neat.
B's
It's
talked
neat to
about
see
that on
like
the
all
radio
the
before.
it's neat to see cars like that they do up on the TV shows in person. Those kind of cars, and those are neat in their own right. But I want to see oddball stuff, and you might there'll always be one of something there, but not I don't know how to say it. You're not going to see like you might see one like vintage Saab or something there, but you're not going to see any more than one there. Not that I'm a fan of Saabs, but just I know they're out there. Weird stuff like that. It just doesn't turn up at the show. Or like a BMW i7. It's like you're not going to see that at this kind of show. Nobody's going to bring that here, but they still always fill it out. I don't know. It's like something like 2,000 cars or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes a couple hours to see everything. And then they have pretty good. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of vendor midway stuff, but a lot of trippy crap. But it's usually pretty good stuff. It's like at least that stuff's kind of to look at. They usually have like kind of like an RC car, like a club, but like rock set up a little rock crawling course for like RC rock crawlers and stuff. And then they usually have like a drift pad and stuff for RCs and things. So it's kind of neat to see that kind of stuff. Those the high end RCs.
Yeah. You should have showed up with Derek's pickup
Yeah,
at the rock
I
crawler
wonder. I wonder if
course.
he ever gets it out. Yeah, well, and here's the thing. I
I doubt he does.
Probably not. I mean, when I did it up, and I know you got it. More as just a a gag gift, if you want to call it, or a shelf sitter deal. But it's kind of neat. It's a shelf sitter thing that you can actually mess with.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, I mean, as cheap as it was, uh, and the build quality it's definitely not I would call hobby grade, but it's not toy grade either. It's better than a toy, but I wouldn't call it hobby grade. It is pretty capable. Now, granted, it didn't have proportional steering, it didn't have proportional, like throttle and stuff. It's just all or nothing kind of deal. But for whatever, $50 or $60 or whatever you paid for it, or if that, um, it it had good battery life, and it was fun to drive. It was fun to mess with.
Yeah.
So and actually, I got some saved in an Amazon cart. A little, they're a little over $100, but I've watched a bunch of YouTube videos and reviews, and they're pretty bang for the buck. They have proportional steering and low gearing and things. But that Chevy K10 pickup, there's two versions of it,
Hmm.
and from the reviews and just watching YouTube videos, it looks like the perfect just it's that would be considered like hobby grade, but there's room for improvements, and you really want to get like super serious with it. But I was looking up like mods and upgrades and things for stuff, and even that one of Derek's, it's like like if you wanted to put in a bigger motor or a lower geared transfer case or something, to make it more of a crawler, it's like $13. I mean, yeah, it all comes from China, but it's it's like it's not the parts. It's not like ungodly expensive for any of that stuff.
Well, and all that stuff comes from China, even if you're paying for name brand,
Well,
So
yes, but what I mean is, even though it's coming from China, the name brand stuff, at least has some engineering in it, of course. Um, but
well,
even
sometimes I wonder if the no name stuff, if it's not designed the same, it's just
well, and I've watched and seen that it's like this K10, the Chevy K10, which I think I might get sometime in the future. There's two versions. There's one that's called, they didn't get the licensing, so they just call it the Glacier, and there's like the back tail, the bodies and everything are almost identical. Well, the body is identical. The running gear and stuff is where there's some notable differences, but the body is the same. They just put like a sticker over the back tailgate because it's molded in that says Chevrolet, and then
Mhm.
it just says Glacier on the back, and then the grill just doesn't have the bow tie in it. You know, uh, and anyway, it's about 40 or so dollars cheaper than the quote real one, from a company called FMS, and I guess they make pretty good ready, what they call ready to run. They're not a kit, uh, RCs, and that's about the level I ever want. Is I just want to open it up and it pretty much run.
yeah.
Minimal. I could put a kit together, but it's like I don't want to. I'm not into it like that.
I my first one I put the kit together. It took me so long to do it, and then because I didn't know what I was doing, it wasn't necessarily put together with any quality. Like I'd hit a bump and wires would come loose or
Oh
something.
yeah. But anyway, but yeah, like the upgrades and stuff are pretty cheap, and like anyway, I put a trailer hitch on it, and it's the right scale for like some of Tucker's like farm equipment, so it could like pull some trailers and things. Like got a little trailer that holds cattle panels, so could do little
Yeah.
things like that, make roads in the backyard. But um, yeah, I just haven't got serious about getting it. It's only, well, it varies in price, but it's about $150, which, like I said, I can use $150 better elsewhere usually.
Yeah.
But that's not outrageous for something. I don't think, considering people spend thousands of dollars in that hobby,
Yeah.
or at least hundreds for
No, they
for
spend thousands.
well, but
It
I mean
depends on
for
it
what
depends on where
well
you're
for
at
what
and what
most
you're
people
doing,
well,
but
that's what I'm saying. For most people, they'd spend hundreds of dollars to get started with something that's like a rock crawler, and it's like I don't really care about that. I want to make some, because this I could take the body off, I could do some weathering, like the way the body is. The vision I sort of have, and I go back and forth of doing, making an old beat up farm, making it a beat up farm truck, or go making it near pristine. It looks real good out of the box, but it's red and white. But making it pristine and replicating, like Billy Bob's pickup from Varsity Blues.
Mhm.
you know.
We'll do both. Get two
Well,
trucks. Do both.
I've seen it and I've thought about that too. Is the cheap one maybe make Billy Bob's, and um, more expensive one rust it out. That's what I was gonna do, is kind of rust it out. And but yeah, the FMS one, the quote good one, is like about $150, and then the Glacier, the more knockoff one of that one, is like 100 and 130. It's not that big of a price difference, but there is some differences in how they run. Like the FMS one, the more expensive one, like you can adjust drag brake, so when you let off, you know, kind of has a little bit of like regen, I guess. Where the other one, it's just fixed, and then you can turn the headlights on and off and things differently. Where the other one you can't, and it's kind of little things like that. Well, um, and I think it has a little bit lower geared case, so it it can crawl real low. But yeah, I have it in the Amazon cart, and it's like, well, every now and again I look at it, it's like, I just pull the trigger, and then I'm like, next payday, and then kind of thing, and then it's been in
Yeah.
my Amazon cart since I gave that one to Derek, so that tells you how long I've been thinking, like thinking about it.
More money. All right, I'm going after this contract.
Oh yeah, 27,000. How did you? Because you finished that field or what?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, because the 100,000 jobs, $100,000 jobs, which is the ones we're on. They're the ones that have the tractors. But I also wanted the equipment to them. But I also wanted to make sure that I got those jobs, and then everything else I've been doing with them. Unfortunately, we can only do 3 contracts, so
So what are we shooting for? Like half a mil before we can start buying like some whiskey, doing stuff or planting or buying
um,
fields, or what do we got to do? We got to buy ground or what?
no, we're waiting on the fields to grow.
Oh, okay.
So we're doing this contract work because that's we need money because
Well,
we were
yeah.
down to
Okay,
I think we
so
started
you
with like
start out with with some fields that are planted, or did you do them? I
I
guess.
will yeah, yeah, I did because I what I did was I bought the 2 fields that come with it on the in the starter farmer mode,
Okay.
and then I bought the whiskey distillery,
Okay, so we already
which
have
really
that. All right.
yeah, yeah. So, but the corn won't pop for a few months, and the other field, I can't remember what it is now, won't. We have to wait a full year before it's ready, and then we'll have to buy water. But otherwise, the rest of the money, I just figure we could just use it to expand, and we can buy as many fields as we want. But right now, I'm just trying to make money. Because I think we started with like 30,000 or something like that,
Oh, okay.
and we don't own any equipment, so we're gonna have to get it somehow.
Well, I guess I didn't realize what we started with or what.
I guess if we can't afford to buy, we can't afford anything, and we can't buy anything on sale. At least we'll have the money that we can lease the equipment for now. And it's spread out enough that we can lease it for the day, do the field that we need to do, and then return like the combine we could lease for the day, do the field we need to do, and then return it with before we have to pay any more on it.
Interesting. Rent a
Because
combine.
it charges you by the hour. You pay an initial fee and then it charges you by the hour. So
Oh, okay.
Other than making whiskey, I don't know if I have any other goal here. I mean,
That's all right.
but if it's gonna take us a year to do it, that's gonna be a long time. So
Yeah.
might as well make some money doing contracts. Especially on this one, because it doesn't take many contracts to really make money. I don't think the real estate is very cheap, but it also doesn't take much to make money on here.
I have to look. I think I got a big strip down the middle here that I'm missing. But I'll have to check when I get back.
You'll be surprised when you look. You'll be able to actually identify where you need to put your tractor and be able to cover that.
Well, I haven't looked yet. I'm just saying I noticed I wasn't very drifted on this one pass here.
It's kind of unfortunate that all the contracts right now are just fertilizing ones, but sometimes the fertilizing ones are the ones that make the most money too. It says you're 73% done with that field.
Yeah, and I got 16% left in the hopper.
Okay. Well,
But let's see how. Like I said, I'm yeah that now see that feels about right based on where I am in the field because I've just been going back and forth, moving up the hill a little.
so at the farm, I put one of those. We used it on the last map too. It's one of those fill tanks,
Okay,
and
I'll see if I can do it right this time.
well, and I have a. I think I have a pickup over there that or no, I think you moved it actually. Now
Yeah,
that I
I
think
did because
about it,
I was driving around, but it's the I mean I know I can look on the map, but it's the is it the red building? We got a blue harvester silo uh, off in the distance. Down the just
it's a
down the
bunch of
road from me,
yeah,
field 3.
it's over by Field 5, just to the south of it. I'm calling it south.
That's the thing. This needs a compass.
Well, that's what I'm like. I kind of use like north is up and south is down.
Well, yeah, when you're in the map, but I'm just saying when you're looking at the little, like I have it on the little circle map, it's like it'd be nice. I mean, there is an arrow. Is that pointing north? I'm wondering.
Yes,
Okay, then that's our. Okay, and that. Okay.
that it's pointing towards the top of the map. But if you went into the other screen, so if you call that north, then yes.
Okay.
So you need to go to the west.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Threaded
It's
wheat.
up the highway. It's up the highway. You take a left, and then you'll see the farm on the corner, and the fill point is like right in the first driveway. Um, you I want to say you can't miss it. I don't, but it's a little white tank compared to all the others.
Yeah. Like I can. It's like I can kind of see it in the distance when I turn around that way. Like it's barely there.
One of the other things you can do on this map, and I don't know if we want to do that because especially since we're doing whiskey. But one of the other things you can do on this map that's different than some of the others is you can dry corn and then sell the dried corn. And I think dried corn is actually worth more than just regular corn.
Hmm.
But there's a whole you gotta you gotta actually produce the dry corn. They run it as a production. I don't know what all you need to do to make it other than corn. If they need like some type of fuel type that you have to put in there,
Hmm.
which would be my guess what they did, but I'm passing the Conoco. I think that's a Conoco. I finally went into the old Carney Liquor building today
Oh,
or
okay.
this weekend. It is way different
And I
because
forget, you
now it's
told me what is it now or what?
a Casey's.
Okay, Casey's, that's right.
But I knew they did because I was watching them do it from the when I drive by. You could look in there and see, but they completely remodeled the inside of the store. The only things that are really where they originally were are the bathrooms and
Hmm.
the coolers. Everything else everything else has been remodeled. Well, and I guess the kitchen is in the same spot, but it's
So there's still
definitely not the
two halves to it then, kind
no,
of.
they took that wall down,
Okay.
and like where the liquor was, that's where you go to get like your candy and stuff.
Okay, yeah. But I guess that's what I meant is what they put in there, 10%.
I'm still kind of curious why it changed. Just because I knew the owners, so um,
Well, a lot of
but
that
I
south
doubt.
end of town seems like it's turned over a little bit, different businesses and things
Yeah, yep.
for whatever reason change, I guess. But still crazy that like Bogarts and stuff is there, is still there,
No, it's not.
isn't it? Thought it was there
The
last
east
time I
side of
was.
the east side of the wasn't it the grocery store that was on the east side
Yeah. Is it
of
gone?
town? Yep.
Okay.
It's the building's still there, but they turned it into a strip mall.
Well, no. Oh, well, yeah. Well, it's the east side of Second Avenue.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's a different one.
That's the one because it's like, I mean, of course you got Walmart Supercenter, you got USave, you got Bob's. I guess it's
Well,
only
and then
three, but
there's the Apple Market too.
right, yeah. It just seems like, and I mean, I understand Carney's not big for around there, but I mean, it's not. Seems like,
Yeah, but they
or
get a
and you
lot
got
of
High
out of
V. Well, you
town.
got High V, which seems like that's the place to go. I mean, if you're up there, that's the place to go.
Yep. Yeah, but they get a lot of out of town traffic too, and that helps. Right now, they got that bridge tore up going over the railroad tracks.
Oh,
They're trying to redo that, I guess. It's a
and
little
that
freaky driving over it because if you went if you turned just right, you wouldn't have to go too far, and you'd drop your car into a hole. It's not protected very well, in my opinion, but
that actually October is when the fall career fair is, and what are I guess we're not. Well, nobody's told me to sign us up, so I'm going. I guess should have probably signed up by now. I
yeah.
think about it. August. October.
Are you guys still needing help?
Well, yes and no. Um, well, yeah, we kind of need another inside salesperson, and maybe another outside seller. We just have more. I mean, it's really coming down to we have more leads than we can deal with. But the inside person sees calling, is working nationwide or calling nationwide.
Mhm.
Right now, she sits right next to me. Help her that stuff, but actually, yeah, we could stand to use another person, but we need people at the other location too.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna go into the trees. What the?
6%. If I can finish this field, it'll
Yes,
be
man.
just damn near. Because I'm like, I mean, you could probably go look. It's like I just have two little like patches, I guess. I think.
There we go. I lost my remote for a second now.
Well, see, mine I lost it, but then I couldn't, not this stream, but last stream, and it just wouldn't come back.
I think I think mine was more I was like messing with a plug and I accidentally pulled it out. When with the GPS on, I didn't necessarily need it at the moment, so I didn't notice it until I got to the end of the field.
God, I made at least one edge.
I forget and I don't think it's there anymore, but I was gonna snap a picture. We had a fent at work. I know it was there Monday. Um, I don't know if it's still there or not. I keep forgetting to look. We had to. I don't know. I'm assuming they're test fitting something, but I don't know for sure since I don't do ag.
I'm gonna be able to do this little bit, and then I'm gonna have on the east end of the field. I'm gonna have just a little patch that I'm gonna have to go get fertilizer and finish that. Do this patch. We'll see. 4%. If not pass here.
Yeah, it says you got about 15% left in the field.
Yeah, and I know there's some. I haven't looked, but I know there's little strips, and I don't know. Do you need to actually get those to consider it complete or not?
If no, you don't have to have the full field complete to complete a contract, but you can't complete a contract till it says 100%. If that makes sense. It doesn't have to actually be 100%, but um
Well, but I mean, is the field?
you,
What I guess is the field considered done if it's over a coverage? Like you'll get credit for it, I guess.
you'll only get credit for like um I don't know how to explain this. If your bar doesn't say 100% in the contracts, you'll never get the contract completed.
Yeah, but that
Even
has
it
nothing. But that
but
doesn't have anything to do with the
the
completion of
but
the
the
field
but
necessarily.
but yeah, the field doesn't necessarily have to be
Well, I
100%
guess
perfect.
that's what I mean. If I get this 90, you said it's 15. Once I get this, it'll be over 95% at least.
Yeah, but you still need to get it to 100%.
Well, so you got to fill in all the gaps then.
No, no, you're not listening.
Well, I'm just
Not
talking about the
quite.
field. I
You're
guess I
not
don't care about the contract. I care about
well,
the
but
field completion.
the contract is what determines if you get paid or not. So if you don't complete the contract at 100%, it doesn't matter because you're never going to complete it.
So, but
But no, the field does not have to be fully complete to reach 100% on the contract.
oh, okay. Well, that's what I wanted to know. So I'll at least get. I know I'll be at least over 95% coverage.
You're at 88 right now.
Well, like I said, I'm gonna have to go get some more because I got more on the on the east end, and I got like 1% in the high. I might be able to make one more. Probably not. Suppose that's where the keyboard comes in. If you could like macro that, you know, app, hit a key and then see it, and then
Yeah.
think I'm doubling it.
Well, after I get done with this contract, we should have about $250,000.
Going the right direction. Now the field.
Actually, if we keep going the way we're going and doing all these contracts, like, because I'm doing a $76,000 contract, and we've got two $100,000 contracts. One of them you've already doing. We should be able to afford a combine. Whether we want to just spend it all on a combine, that'd be another thing.
Yeah.
Or if we want to just lease and try and get all the other equipment first.
Okay.
But then again, we've got like, I mean, this is just August. I've got it on 1-day seasons, but so, but like, we'll have other contracts, before we harvest and after we harvest. So
Yeah. Out. What are the?
you should hear my craziness at work. I've got a, I've had this job. I've been working on it for a month and almost a half now. It'll be a month and a half. It'll probably be 2 months by the time I get this completed. Well, when I started it, they wanted it by, I think, next week. They wanted it shipped next week. But they keep making changes on me, and like everything else in the world, we can't get the drive in until September. And um so I keep going through changes and everything. Well, they started getting pissy with us because they can't understand why we're being so delayed. And it's just like, it's the most complicated thing that they could have ever asked me to make. Um and because it's got all these little clamp mounts for the covers, and if you adjust the covers, which is what they're doing, if you adjust the covers every time that you do that, I have to go through and I have to adjust all these little clamps because then they're off
Oh.
centered.
Yeah.
They're off centered and everything. And so, but they're getting all pissy because they can't get their stuff, and it's like, Well, then stop changing it on me.
Yeah.
What really sucked this week was I was there's two of them. One's like almost 90 foot, and I haven't even started to do what we call detailing, which is just make all the little 2D prints um on either one. I was in the process of getting all these clamps lined up on the smaller of the two, and I was on the very last one. I was just about ready to place it, and I get this email from them. Well, since you guys are being so slow on this, we want to move the covers again.
That's your being
And
so.
and then they're like, "Oh, and we want to make it so because they had like four of this one kind of screw. Well, that's going to hit our equipment. So we want to have you take those covers and put them on the other side." And I'm just like that's a complete another conveyor. I mean, I have to completely go through and take everything, and it's not just a simple just mirror it over.
Okay,
It's
I'm filling up. I want. What do I want? Lime or what do I want? Oh,
fertilizer.
solid fuel fertilizer, right?
Yep, yep.
There. All right. Okay. That was okay. So auger, trash cans out. Trash needs good old harvest store. Anybody who actually,
Um, yeah, I don't either. I've see
in
some
our
all over
area,
work.
I know somewhere they not in our area.
I see there's some on the edge of work. I always heard about how good they were with tornadoes and stuff, and then there's one. Oh, it's a town. I think it's called Sutton, east of Hastings. There's one north of there that got hit by a tornado and has a huge dent in it. But they were before that they were always like, oh, a tornado can hit them and nothing damages them compared to a grain bin. And it's like, well, that was partially true, but
Yeah, but I guess I thought that they're more for silage than
yeah, and they
genuine.
are in this game too.
And I suppose that's why people just put silage up in a bunk usually,
Yeah,
chop it, grind it.
yep.
Kind of
This
like
that's
I
just
kind of
like
like that you have or this map has traffic turned on because then it feels a little less
well,
lonely on the map.
I did that because they finally made them a bit smarter, so they're not out to kill you when you're on the road like they were before. It was like if you pulled just a little bit out of that lane, they would immediately try to pass you at like 90 miles an hour, and
Well, I'm seeing some of
and
these
then
guys coming head on. It's like they kind of look a little drunk in a way.
it's like yeah, that's why I turned it off.
But
Um,
I do like it. It adds a realism, and then yeah, you don't feel like it. You don't feel or it doesn't feel as alone. I guess.
yeah.
Okay. Uh,
Well, and
yeah,
the other part of it is I figured Derek would have all sorts of hell with it on
yeah,
that other map.
right.
I, it's just like I love playing. It's called Clamston. It's a really good map. It's a British map though, and so it has hedges, and um, even I have found that even I have problems with the hedges. Although they made them so that some of them don't have collisions on. But
Yeah.
I could not imagine if Derek was trying to because the roads are so narrow. he'd probably complain the whole time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Just as I thought, about down the middle, I wish you could turn on the whatever from yeah, while you have the map on the screen.
Oh yeah.
At least in this, where the crop's grown. Like I have sort of a wedge shape, and I'm just guessing where.
Yeah, but I've
I mean,
had that
I
problem
can keep
before.
toggling
I
back.
just
I mean, I can keep
that's
toggling back and stuff. I get that, but it's like,
that's what I do.
well, I know, but it's a little bit of a hack.
It would also help, yeah, quite a bit if we could actually get you using GPS, because then you wouldn't have that problem in the first place.
I suppose, but still, it's you still don't see what still doesn't you can't
You
tell what
you
you're
don't
doing. But I understand.
exact. I mean, you don't, but you don't have to worry about overlap, and you don't have to worry about missing the spot.
Yeah, but actually, just freehanding it here, I did it. I did pretty good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Now I can see why you didn't get that field completed.
Well, and see the middle there is that's where I stopped, and so I didn't start straight. And when we had to quit the game, I only got about half the field done, and yeah, that's why I knew I had it. That's the thing. I knew I had a strip down the middle. I just didn't know what it looked like.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, I can kind of see my tracks, so I was trying to sort of gauge. It's like, well, let's see. It throws it about this far out, so I'll just guess.
Yeah.
But again, like you said, it doesn't have to be 100% to count, I guess. If you,
No, it doesn't.
but
You just have to
but
get
the
there.
better you do, the better the yield and all that stuff.
It's not our field though.
No, but wouldn't don't
We're
we?
we
Yeah,
don't
but don't
care
we
about the yield.
eventually don't we get to eventually harvest it for as a hired hand?
Yeah,
Has
but
to
we get paid no matter what.
Yeah, but isn't it paid off what it produces? And if you do a better job,
No, so we'll be guaranteed like say like $100,000, then we take the grain to the market, and at a certain level it completes the contract out and it gives us the rest of the grain.
yeah. So the yield actually doesn't really matter.
Not necessarily, no.
Oh, okay.
I guess in a way, I guess kinda, because you get the free grain at the end, but nah, I'm not worried about it. And that field will make, it'll make probably $100,000 on the harvest contracts. So
Regardless if I miss this strip and the Milo doesn't grow as good.
the other thing too is when we complete the contract, it'll actually even out the field itself, because they don't want to register the field as being
Done till
fertilized.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I understand they got to give Pro some bones. Game.
Well, it's just
I
the
suppose
thing
hard
is like
mode it matters.
you
And you know.
The thing is, like, you want to play really, really, really realistic, and they are like, that's a little bit more than what they want to program into the game.
Well, I just figured, they got everything else pretty dialed. I mean, kind of seems like that would, there would be a metric that would make a calculation on, and then
So there's a mod called Precision Farming, and if I had that and I put that in here, then yes, it would worry about the yield, and actually it would go so far as, like, when we're fertilizing, if we hit a spot that doesn't need fertilizing, it'd stop fertilizing.
well,
Um,
that's like what you in real life map your field and take soil samples here and less there.
exactly.
But the,
That's
the
what.
thing is of course, that'd be perfect for like the game or something like this. But like in real life, it's like, your dad, my dad, and everything. You know where the terrible spots of the field are. So you know where you just factor your usage to make it, turn it up a little here or there, or just double up or double over here where the soil's poor.
Yeah.
When you've farmed it for 50 years, and like pass down knowledge. Okay, this east end of this field's terrible dirt, so I gotta pump it up or whatever.
Yeah. My uncle has so my cousin my I have a cousin that does that kind of stuff for co I think he does it for the Frenchman co-op now. But he does the soil sample stuff, so my uncle hires him to do the fields, and so I've seen those maps before.
Yeah, I mean
But then again my uncle is like, he's from Omaha. He he was not raised there, but he lives in Omaha, so he hadn't worked the fields for 50 years. He
well,
doesn't
right. I mean, and well, and even
doesn't have that
but
pass
see,
down knowledge.
even us in the '90s, we did a lot of that mapping and stuff, and even today, send stuff off to Boulder and analyzed, and then see how it's changed or stayed the same.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like our wheat, our seed wheat, send it off to certified, like is what it is. It's still the hybrid we bought, 20 years ago or 10 years or whenever we last, bought seed. See if it's the genetics have changed. Try to and we do a good, we do a always kept our stuff clean, cleaned out the combine and all that, so we wouldn't get mixed.
Yeah.
Because we used to do a couple or at least two different varieties depending on the feed air. Not all our stuff is right there near,
Yeah.
so fields were different. Because we had bottom ground and stuff, so we plant a more like dwarf there, so it wouldn't fall down when it rained,
Yeah.
and better stuff. I'm not sure the hybrids. One of them I remember was Arapaho, and then the other one was Rocky.
Mm.
Probably changed.
See, I remember we'd save some of the wheat back so that we could replant it. But beyond that, I couldn't tell you what we did. Like, I don't know if my dad ever sent it off somewhere or did anything like that. I don't remember ever buying wheat.
I remember
Um,
I remember we bought
we
all the
always
seed one that I can remember as a kid distinctly buying new seed wheat because we wanted to change varieties, and the variety we had kept saved because we had two different bins. One was this variety, one was that variety, and we mixed them. And I think it's when we wanted to, I don't know, we whatever we wanted to try something different. We bought seed wheat to replace because, and I distinctly remember Dad said it's like, well, this seed we've been planting for 20, like something like 25 years or at least 20 years.
Yeah.
And that was in when I was 10 or 11, 12, 13, maybe like that.
Hmm.
I wasn't driving yet, so that kind of, because I remember going to, I forget where we got it. We, well, it was NC Plus hybrids at the time. I know they got bought out by, forget who was the dealer. I mean, it wasn't anybody local. We had to go like red class
Oh,
because that
the only
because the neighbors were like Pioneer and there was some DeKalb and at the time and Cargill and Garst a little. That was kind of what I remember.
yeah,
Now it's all what is it, Channel and
Monsanto.
well, Monsanto owns Channel, but the different
Oh,
brands that are down there. What else? Well, Pioneer.
yeah.
I see the sign. I just always look for the signs just out of curiosity.
We used to sell we used to sell Kelgen, which has obviously changed names since then many times over. But I always thought it was kind of funny. It probably wasn't, but um, we'd always get corn in and stuff. And granted, when you plant during the planting season, I wasn't always home because we were in school.
Cool,
But
yeah,
but I swear the only reason that we ever were a dealer was just so that my dad could get it, so he could plant it.
yeah. I mean,
I think I remember like there was one year one of the farmers ran out of, I think it was actually the Pioneer dealer. I think he ran out of his own stuff and he needed to finish a field in just get his planting finished. So he ended up buying a few bags from us just cuz he needed something to finish with.
yeah,
But other than that, I don't ever remember. And like I said, I mean, I wasn't home, so I don't know, but I don't ever remember selling it. It's just been, they would buy back what we didn't. We had to sit on it all summer, but they'd buy back what we
yeah,
didn't use. So
yeah. For well, before we did well, our farm we did corn off and on, but when I was little, we didn't do corn. We usually did Milo. It was only back in like like the 50s and 60s corn, and then did Milo just because it was cheaper to grow, and you still got at that time you still got the pretty much the same yield, and you didn't have to put water on it and stuff.
yeah, we
But
we did Milo too.
yeah, but now almost nobody takes it. I mean anymore. Uh, but oh yeah. All right. But yeah, we used to plant. For Milo, it was well NC plus and well, drawing a blank. I can picture the bag. I even remember the numbers. There was 6B12 and 6B50. It was a red because it
Yeah,
dried, grew fast and dried quicker. Had about the same, pretty much the same, just about the same yield. would always
I
dry
don't
down.
think I don't think I've ever heard of white Milo.
Well, or like what we got here. Maybe over at that end of that county, maybe what is but
We Ours was always red. We never. I don't think.
well, or maybe they don't call it white, but it was a cream color.
And
You
it,
know, it wasn't.
and and I thinking about it. I don't know how. I don't. I think we were maybe one of the few that actually grew it. Maybe not. Maybe I'm not remembering right. But
I remember people.
everybody.
We almost did, but we never did. But there was people doing. I remember in the mid '90s, for whatever reason, and I was just too young or not paying attention to really know why. But for whatever reason, there was kind of a people got on a sunflower. Now I don't know where they were taking it because Alma wouldn't take it. Maybe Holdridge, I
Would
don't know, but or
I
or
would
or
assume
Reagan
you'd.
or somewhere, but
I would assume you'd have to go to Kansas.
maybe, um, but but maybe it was like Reagan or something would take it too. I don't know because Rip City, Alma, Orleans wouldn't take it. I knew didn't take it. Um, but yeah, there was people that were doing sunflowers for a couple of years there. Thought was
It wasn't. Well, I haven't been. I haven't been through the area that
well, I mean,
quite
this
like
was in the
that.
mid
But
'90s, but
yeah, but what I was gonna say is around Kearney here in the last 10 or so years, they've done sunflowers a couple years. Actually, it's I don't think I don't think they're I don't think I think they're a separate operation from Sean, the one that Stone married into, the Culvers.
yeah,
But there's a group up by well, actually their storage bin is over on the Minden Road, up closer to the interstate,
okay,
and they bought all these fields. Like they own fields all the way. I don't know how far away. I just know that like I've seen some of them planted all the way over by Odessa from I guess from basically Fort Kearney there,
yeah.
and but they've switched out. Like they'll do potatoes. Actually I haven't seen them do potatoes in a while, but they did sunflowers there for a little bit too. I think that was them. Maybe that was another farmer. I know I saw several fields of sunflowers. So
Just and I suppose it's just demand and doesn't pay as well, but it's and I don't know much about canola, but it's funny because like Canada, canola is big. I mean wheat,
yeah,
but canola is top crop is like one of the top crops up there. I just always wonder why it isn't down here more. I know some.
it's I've never heard of canola until I got into this game, and it's like I don't even know what it's used for, and then I found out like oh it's they make oils and
Yeah,
stuff out of
they
it.
press it for the oil. That's
Yeah.
you know canola oils in every.
Yeah.
But I guess we have so much cattle, hog, all that production. Corn, the cereal grains are just dominate because you got to feed the cows, cattle, or
Yeah.
livestock, poultry.
Yeah.
I mean, like I know, but it just seems like there'd be at least of it.
Yeah.
But I suppose it all gets shipped overseas to be pressed. Why? Maybe I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know where they process.
Well, and I mean, Canada's somewhat more connected to Europe than we are too, so
Yeah.
that might be something to do with it.
Well, and of course, and that's the one thing why I and I'm sure somewhere in the mods I've never looked, but
And
pull
maybe it
like
maybe it
modern pull
grows.
type combines. I'm surprised. are not in this, just in this base game, since this is more European feeling generally, because that's where the developers are and stuff. But
Yeah.
why, because John Deere, Case, all the manufacturers, they still make, like modern, uh modern, brand new like pull type, uh combines. It's funny because it's like it looks just like the self-propelled, except for it's like they just took the cab off, and then of course then made an offset hitch, and and then there you go. It's self-powered. It's not PTO driven like the really old days, but
Yeah.
um yeah, they
That
they just
so
look
that kind of brings
funny. They just look funny because, like, when I think of pull type combine, I think of something like pre 1960.
that kind of brings up what I tried to talk about last stream, but I think Discord or something kind of cut out on us in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Um, so I had been like thinking like if you wanted to, and this kind of went along with what you're talking about those junkyard. I guess I'd call them junkyard farmers where they're trying to buy old equipment and
Yes, and
stuff.
I need to send you that link so you can. I mean, you could look it
W-
up, but I should just send you
So,
the link and then you start watching.
so this thought that I've had is kind of goes along with that. So if you wanted to be a hobby farmer or you wanted to do like what they're doing, granted, maybe for them it'll be a little bit might be a smidge easier. I wouldn't say a little bit easier. I'd say a smidge easier because I've seen a combine that would probably work for them. But what would you do if you wanted to be a hobby farmer to get a combine without having to, like spend the $500,000 on the new John Deere or whatever? Do you just like go to the local auction and buy whatever's cheap, or is there actually some combine out there that's actually you can get here in America that's
You buy something 30 years
small and
old.
affordable?
Well, you
You
buy
what?
something 30 years old. I mean,
Oh,
I mean, look at this. I mean, ours. I mean, parents are gonna. Well, I mean, I think they are, but are gonna quit farming here one of these
yep,
age, and they
yeah,
talk like they are. I'll believe when I see it, but whatever. But anyway, I mean, we're not going to buy any new equipment. We're done, and
yeah,
we're still using, and that was bought used, of course. Um, but it was only, I can't remember exactly when we get it, but we're using a 9610, a 1998, 97. We bought it a couple of years old. Had, I don't remember that, but low enough hours. Let's put it that way. And that's what we've been using. And then before that, we were using Massey 860 and 760, 78 and 82 model years, respectively. And those, remember, I was little when we got those, so they were only 5, 6 years old when we got them. Had to repair and fix them,
yeah,
but used them 20, and that's pretty. I mean, that it's pretty common. Even biggish farms are using can be using 10 to 15-year-old equipment, you know.
yeah.
Uh
Well, I just wondered because like if you
but
let's just
but
say
even but even
you
then
you got a field that you wanted to farm, it's you could go buy like a new tractor You may not necessarily go get out a John Deere, but you could there's enough tractors on the market. You could go buy something that was kind of a hobbyish kind of a tractor
Well, that's the
to
thing.
get
There's
the
a
job done.
market.
And
There is a
but
market. That's where
but
Kubota and
but
Mahindra and all that is kind of geared a little bit
but what
towards.
do
There's
you
other
do when
brands
you
too.
get ready to harvest the thing? I mean, if you're just trying to be a hobbyist and not necessarily like
Yeah, I know what
go.
you're saying. I don't know if there's a brand that meets that needs necessarily, uh, that I can think of. Uh, but then again,
So there's what got me kind of thinking about this is there's a sand pit in Overton, and the guy that owns it, he's notorious for going around to all these auctions and just buying stuff. He just buys random stuff,
yeah.
and he has this combine there. It's so old and rusty and everything, but it's so small. It most tractors today, other than like what we were just talking about, the Kubotas and stuff, most tractors today are actually bigger than what this combine is. And it just got me to thinking. I'm looking at it. It just got me to thinking. It's like, well, that would be perfect if you were a, wanted to do a hobby farm, and if you could get it running and whatnot.
Well, it's
But it's
funny you
like,
say that because it's like, you know, even like I think about they were the biggest combines in the series had, but like our 760 was one step down. The 860 was this Massey, but they were that you know as far as just size and things, it's still a big combine, and it's like you could probably buy one of those for. But see, you're still going to have to pay over 10 grand for a worn out one of those, probably. You
Mhm.
know,
Well, 10 grand's better than like five
Well,
hundred thousand.
I
If
get it,
if
but
you
when you only if you're hobby farming like 20 acres, that might be on the edge of. I mean, you got to find what you got to find, but then you get
yeah
much older than machines of that area, and I could name off like the 7220 or whatever, which is John Deere, and then those early axial flows, internationals and such. Those are
yeah
still big combines, and of course parts are you can get parts for them, but it's more like can be harder. But uh you're still looking at a lot of money, and they're still like maybe depending on your field, maybe too big for the field. I mean that's kind of the deal with some of um uh what we had problems with like trucks and stuff is that's why we had to get to semis is because combine got too big for the truck. And
yeah
then like our tractors we had to you know uh got we had to limit the equipment. We had to get bigger equipment, tillage equipment, but couldn't go too small because the tractor would then break the equipment. I mean, that was kind of the problem. Let's see. I am going to consider that field
yeah.
late.
You've been completed for a while now.
Oh, I know. I wanted to make it good. So, um, well, let's see. It's 9 o'clock, and I got this down. That was my goal. I don't really want to
Okay.
start something that I can't really finish. But
Well,
where, I guess, where
and
should I
on it,
drive? Where should I drive to leave
that's
it?
what I'm kind of what that's what I'm kind of wondering. I don't know if you want to do the other one, which would be field 5.
Uh, oh, okay. Uh, yeah.
It's over by the farm.
Yeah, I see where it is. Um, yeah, it's over where
And
you are.
if you do that one, I would you well you probably have this figured out already, but I would probably start on the opposite end from the farm, so that way when you run out, you're closer. But
Yeah.
you can do it however you want.
Yeah. But yeah, yes, I will do that because then I'll leave the.
And
I'll just drive over there and leave it there because I want to
if
get.
we had that, because the way it looks, if we had that one done and I had my contract done, we could end all the contracts and then see if we can't get something else next time, or at the very least maybe we can get some different equipment.
Right.
We're gonna pass each other
Yeah,
here.
I know.
Man, it was hot at our concert.
Oh, I wondered. I mean, I saw the pictures.
My my one of my old coworkers from Chief, he actually ended up, him and his wife decided to come out there too. So he's texting me because he's never been there before. Um so he's texting me and asking me stuff. Well, he meets up with him and his wife meet up with me. They come down to where we're at, and I was talking to him. Well, people are passing out because it's so hot because it was like 100 degrees.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so
they're probably
people were
charging
just,
$10 for water too, or something.
no, they weren't. They were actually giving away free water.
Oh, well, that's responsible, or that's. Cause I
Yeah.
always wonder
I
at
think
stuff like that, you know. I mean, or a
they,
dollar is
if
reasonable,
you
but
could, you could buy them for $5, but they also gave away free water. And then on top of that, they told you they let you bring in a no bigger than 24-ounce bottle, and they had a water station
well, I guess that's
you could
good that they
fill them
do
back
that.
up with.
That
So
they do that stuff. Because I've
anyway,
heard other
anyways,
stories.
the he was telling me as they were walking in um from the parking lot that someone didn't even make it to the gate before they passed out. They felt they passed out on the walkway to the gate. And it's like, man, they didn't even make it into the concert.
Yeah.
But it was good. Rob's always good, but Mudvayne, I wanted to see them, and they hadn't been playing for 12 years, so to see them back together and actually play, um,
Okay.
and then the
Well,
other bands were,
I'm beginning that, but well, I'm gonna stop it and probably hop out. Otherwise, if I keep going, it's like it'll be.
yeah.
You got a couple
Well,
other things to. So yeah, well, I know what I'm doing. So
speaking of sunflowers,
yeah. Okay, I'm gonna hop out here. But yeah, we'll on that one. See, that one's gonna take me 2 streams to get through, I think.
yeah. Well, I keep hoping that something else will pop up, and then